this chapter of my life, I'm still in shock at what actually happened to me and my family. It started late 2006. I found a home in Plainfield, Illinois. Me and my family were looking for a place to live. My wife at the time and my 3 boys. 2 was in middle school. 1 was still a little tiny boy. It all started as soon as we moved in. Simple things like, where did my CD go? Thought the kids were trying to play tricks on me. Constantly feeling upset, weird, like something was staring at me. I thought it was just me, but every time we went to go eat dinner or breakfast on the weekends, we all started saying little things. Be sitting in the living room in the evening, watching TV, when the TV would go off. At first, I really thought that was the kids just trying to play spooky tricks. And my wife at the time never experienced anything paranormal to this nature. Then it changed, like things were slowly building up. Had this smell in the house that I could not get rid of. Rotten, mildewy smell. Even tore down the walls in the basement and around and replaced it, but still couldn't get rid of the smell. And every time you took a shower, it was like something was standing there, watching you. Then, as we watched TV one night, around Halloween, the doorbell started going off on its own, real crazy, like someone was just holding their finger on it, constantly pushing. And every time you would go to the door, there was nobody there. Then one day I happened to come downstairs and my oldest son was laying on the couch, and I asked him why he was there. He had this fear in his face and his eyes and said to me, his bed started shaking in the middle of the night, and he looked up and he said he saw 2 shadow figures standing by the foot of his bed. And just like everybody else, I kind of looked at him and said, maybe it was a nightmare. And he's like, no, Dad, I know what I saw. Then, one day, I came home early from work, and everybody was still gone. So I came through the garage, the side door, because it was attached to the house. I heard these whispers downstairs, like a few people talking. But the voices didn't sound like mine or yours. Almost like that you've seen in those movies like Amityville. Couldn't explain it. This fear came over me. I didn't know what to think, so I immediately grabbed my gun and went downstairs as my heart beating fast, and I'm scared shitless. The voices were getting louder, and then when I turned the corner to see where the voices were coming from, there was nothing there. This constant fear changed to, I better get out of here. And something or someone was staring at me. This strange, strong feeling of, I need to get out of here. So I ran back up the stairs, and they all came home, and I was explaining to them. Then come to find out, they kept, my oldest kids was having problems because their bedroom was downstairs. I had a finished basement, and something with red eyes and this black fur ran under his bed. And he felt it with his hand, but he looked, there was nothing there. But he heard some hissing. This went on for a while. Then when it got to progressing worse, we're all watching TV. This is where it all began to change for the worst. My little child was playing with his little toys in the dining room floor. Just out of the blue, he gets up and he starts screaming and running to me, saying "roars" in the corner, "roar." What the hell is roar? You know, I don't know what to say. I picked him up and tried to comfort him, and I went over to the spot where he was pointing at, and something with red eyeballs and big teeth. I put my hand over there, and he nudged his body away from the area on my shoulder. Things like this would go on for a while. Then one time over the weekend, after we'd been there for maybe a year, we went to do some laundry and found clothes in the dryer that looked like it was from the early 1900s. Now I know we don't got clothes like that. So my wife at the time was telling me, what the hell is this? What the hell's going on in this place? And we went together, throwed it in the garbage outside. And I'll be damned, the next day they were right back in the dryer. And anybody who would to come over to our place would say, your house looks beautiful, but there's something wrong with this place. We started finding dead animals in the backyard, and these voices, and start waking up at 3:15 every morning from my stereo in the living room, coming on full blast to music that I don't even listen to. Petrified. Every time we would be outside somewhere, everything was fine. But once you step foot back in this house, things would disappear. Now you'd be asking yourself, I know I put that knife right here, and find it like upstairs. And my son, he just kept on with changing from roar to a pig. His toys would start making noise in the middle of the night. He had this Elmo toy, like this little tricycle Elmo, and it had the sounds on it. Went off too many times. I took the batteries out, and it still went on. I threw the damn thing away. Then something told me in the middle of the night one time to get up. I was fighting to try and get up. And I finally got up and I went to go use the washroom. When I came out, I saw this shadow figure move real quick out of the corner of my eye in my youngest son's bedroom. So I immediately went in and turned on all the lights and checked his closets, and there was nothing there. This stuff progressed to even stronger and stronger, where my kids wouldn't even come home. When they came home from school, they didn't stay at the home. They stayed at the library or hung with friends outside until I got home from work. Anger would come over you, and then one time I literally went to sleep and woke up and I had Bell's palsy in my face. I thought I was having a stroke. I was rushed to the hospital. Half of my face was sagging. And anybody who ever spent a night there literally ran out of my house at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. My middle son's friend, which I call him my adopted son because he was always over, got up at 3 o'clock in the morning and ran out of the house. He said something woke him up, and there was a shadow man standing at the stairs to go upstairs to our bedroom, just staring at him with red eyes. My wife at the time's grandmother actually spent the night. 3 o'clock in the morning, she woke up screaming. There was a floating man with pure black eyeballs hanging by the dining room's window, staring at her. And you kept hearing these voices. I can't even describe the stuff that was going on in this house. TVs constantly going on and off while you're sitting in front of it. Then finally one night we was upstairs discussing how we gonna do with our moving and getting the hell out of this house of whatever it is. I even called the guy who owned the house. What the hell went on here? I think somebody worshiped the devil or someone practiced something in this house. Voices, feeling like you're being touched. Something punched the wall. My oldest son, by his face, scared him half to death. They left the house screaming. Friends would come over with their pets. The pets wouldn't even come in the house. They would stay by the door crying. Then finally, one of the last days we were there, we were discussing on how to get our stuff together and what should we do. And then my stereo starts going on and off. And if you've seen my stereo, it has these buttons that's kind of hard to do, and it was going on and off like 1,000,000 times per second in the TV. I had this dream one night, and I woke up and my bed was full of sweat of this demon thing circling me, saying my great-grandmother's name. And if you know what I'm talking about in the intro with this haunted soul, my great-grandmother supposedly was a witch. And it kept saying to us, join us. And all I could think as it was circling me, this creepy looking black cloth, pale face, all I could see was his lips, and it was something like a demon saying, my grandmother wants us to join them. All I could think of saying was the Lord's Prayer. And every time I said the Lord's Prayer and kept saying it, it would scream. There's so many things that happen in this house on a daily basis. I'm surprised I even stayed there as long as we did. We ended up staying there literally almost 3 years. I might make another video to this and go in more detail. but there's a lot of bad things that happen to us in this house. Many have told me that I should sit down with somebody to make a movie. And still to this day, my middle child doesn't talk about it. Once in a while, my oldest son will say certain stuff. They're in disbelief of what happened to us in this house. My youngest is 13 now, and he was 2, going on 3. We lived there 3 years, and he won't talk about it, just calls it the haunted house, the thing that roared at him. And once you experience something like this, it never goes away.